And expos are a long-standing history of international peaceful cooperation. They started in 1851, back then with Prince Albrecht and Victoria, starting the Expo with the idea in mind. There is so much going on in our world. There is so much innovation. We have to inform the public, the broader public, about what the technology advancements are, and we need to show them what we are developing so that the public knows what is going on and the public gets a feeling, gets an understanding of the new technologies. So and this is why the first Expo was held in London in 1851, and since then, in regular terms, the Expo started to happen in different countries. We have, for example, in Paris in 1867, the Pavilion or the Expo, where the French Eiffel Tower was built. And this was one of the earliest expos where holding an exposition was thought of. This is a project to develop Paris further. This was the idea of the Expo. Holding the Expo in Paris was a city development plan. How can this Expo help Paris to get bigger, to get more like a city, to expand the city boundaries? And already back then, a kind of sustainability and the understanding of what an Expo has as an impact on the host country and the host city was present back then. And the Expos changed a little bit over time what they are made for. As I said at the beginning, there were like nations showing off their technology advancements, showing off what they can do better than other nations. And over the decades, Expos changed to a more to the idea of the world is coming together for 6 months and working together, being in the same place, and the Expo started to realize this understanding, this unique opportunity they have, and get more into the idea of we should be the platform to discuss global issues on a broader scale with the public, with the civil society. And here you have a picture of the Expo in Brussels, where the German Pavilion was back then one of the lighthouse projects on the new understanding of architecture, having big window screens, having a lot of sunlight coming in, and this influenced a lot of architects afterwards. And you also have the Montreal Expo, where you can see the shape of the German Pavilion, which was the example or the proof of concept for the Munich stadium on how to build a roof like this. And Germany is an Expo nation. Germany participated in the Expos right from the beginning. We are regularly present there, and since the BIE the Bureau International d'Exposition, was founded in 1928, Germany was a founding member of the BIE and being at the meetings since then. And we also hosted a couple of expos here in Germany. The last one was in 2000 with Hanover, but before that we had 1965 in Munich, we had 1957 in Berlin. Maybe there will be an expo in Germany some in the next couple of years, but it's not decided yet. But hopefully, because expos are the opportunity to show the world on how to work together peacefully. And I think Europe is in the position to do this and host this. And the last expo was in Dubai. Here you can see the German Pavilion back then. And the German Pavilion back then was under the name of Campus Germany. Germany was there to show how the future can look like. We won a lot of awards from the Expo. We had a lot of good marketing for Germany as a technology country for a lot of innovations. And back then, already the idea was, what do you do with the materials of the pavilion afterwards? So all the The steel construction you see was already back then planned ahead what happens after the Expo with those steel beams. But going away from the past and looking into the future, what is going to happen next year at the Expo? The German Pavilion next year is under the umbrella of circularity and circular economy. Everything in the German Pavilion will be centered around this understanding, and sustainability from my project point of view, let me assure you, is the key decision factor for all the decisions the federal ministry is making. Every decision and every discussion we have is focused around the discussion, is this sustainable or is there a better sustainable opportunity or not that we can realize? And there are around 360 people involved in the German participation at the moment, from the construction team to the architects here in Germany, here in Japan. The budget of the German Pavilion is 56 million euros. Taxpayer money, and taxpayer money well spent in this participation. And how long does it take for Germany to participate in an Expo? It takes about 8 years before the Expo is hosted. The decision is made who is hosting the next Expo. Then it takes about 5 years of project preparations, where the ministry starts the selection processes of what companies are participating, who is doing what, and how the pavilion and the German participation should look like. And this takes about 5 years to realize. Then it takes 6 months for the Expo itself to be hosted in the host country. And then you have about 6 months to 1 year after the Expo for deconstruction and getting everything back and finishing the project. And as I said, every decision is based on the understanding if this is circular or not, and this decision always also influenced our logo. It also influenced our name of the German Pavilion. And sustainability is, of course, one of the important things. The federal ministry decided to focus on SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities. And the German Pavilion has a different approach on the understanding of architecture, because normally you see architects focusing on what materials do we have to be finalized in the building. But this pavilion is it's a prototype of a new understanding. We look at this temporary pavilion not as the final product, but just as a step in the life cycle of the materials used in this pavilion. So the wood construction, the steel construction is just thought as this is one step this material is used in, and not as the final step. All the wood construction is standardized wood construction. It is cut and sawed in a way that it can be used afterwards in different construction. And the steel construction is a rental steel construction from GL Events that was used last year in Italy for an event, is now shipped to Japan and being set up there to be used there, and after the Expo it will be reused in Japan for a different event. So everything that we are using with the pavilion is focused on what happens with the materials afterwards, and we try to achieve to have around 90–95% of reusability for the pavilion. And this goes so far that even when operational decisions, waste reduction, how to set up your files, how to set up your documentaries, everything is thought as to reduce waste as much as possible. And also the climate concept of the pavilion within is thought in the way of sustainability. We do have active air conditioning units in the back of house to keep the office rooms in a good temperature for my team to work there. But the exhibition itself does not have active air conditioning. The pavilion is planned to have a passive airflow through the pavilion for the air exchange to keep the pavilion inside roughly 6 degrees lower than the outside, and 6 degrees is the level of temperature difference humans feel the difference, and it's comfortable for them. So it doesn't matter how much the outside temperature is, as long as 6 degrees colder inside, it feels colder and it feels better for you inside. Let's see about that, how this is going to happen next year. And of course, also all the plants you can see are also used as a functional landscape. The water flow concept is supposed to cool the area around the pavilion. The whole pavilion is covered in greens, and those greens are rental plants from our partner in the south of Osaka, from how do you say Baumschule in English, from a forestry in the south of Osaka, and we have a partnership with them to extend their forestry area with the pavilion for those 6 months, and after the pavilion is or the expo is finished, all the plants go back to the forestry to grow further and to be used in different projects. And the other SDG we are focusing is SDG 9, in industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And here we have from Germany around 70 project partners who give us information, give us materials from their current sustainable and circular economy projects from the companies. And to highlight 3 projects just shortly, we have the Green Hydrogen Hub project in Hamburg being showcased here. We have the clothing project called Moot, M-O-O-T, that is using different waste materials and different materials like old leather, bed sheets and stuff like this to reuse those materials for clothing. And we have an augmented reality mirror in the pavilion so that our visitors can select, okay, I want to wear clothes made out of mushrooms, how would they look like? And then you can stand in front of the mirror, select the materials, and then it will be projected onto your mirror image. And we have the project Urban Mining also showcased in our pavilion, where we want to show our visitors cities are holding a lot of resources that is already used in older buildings, and we want to give them the understanding you can reuse those old materials, deconstruct them, clean them up, and use them in new buildings. And let's go roughly through the pavilion to see a little bit about our exhibition. This is the first room, Circular Living. Here our visitors can input their wishes and idea how to live in the future, and based on their inputs, our artificial intelligence will focus on, will create pictures on how to live in the future. And after they learned and see how to live in the future, we want to show them what products you can use in the future that are sustainable, that are circular. And then here you have a table with 7 different screens where the visitors can learn more about sustainable and circular projects and products from Germany. And then the heart of our exhibition is Circular Me, because the emotional journey is about find a way on or see a picture on how to live in the future, see a way on what products to use in the future, and then we want to give them the space and the time to sit down and think about what is my role in creating a sustainable future. What can I do in my daily life to create a sustainable future? Because creating a sustainable future is not a government decision. It is not a top-down decision. It is the understanding of all people to understand I'm part of creating a sustainable future. What I do in my daily lives creates a sustainable future. And of course, because we are in Japan, we have a mascot, our circular, who will guide our visitors through Japan, through the pavilion, as a graphic companion, as a walking act, which we are building right now in Osaka, and of course as an interactive guide who will talk with the visitors in German, English and Japanese, and they also will interact with each other, so we try to foster inter-visitor communication and make the pavilion as fun as possible by, on the other hand, talking about very complicated and important topics. Thank you very much.